Oh, instant queue. Okay. Went from a really long queue to a really fast queue. Route 66? Okay, this should be a good one.
I have a clogged nose. Okay, I got it. Oi.
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 I'm 3,700. I'm kind of scared.
Why?
You'll be fine. Yeah.
I don't feel like I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
I think you will be. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, and you're going Reinhardt! I'm joking. You got this. You got this.
Yo guys, this is another starisfilth Viewer VODs video. Viewer VODs, for those who don't know, are free submissions that everybody gets to submit. The only thing is that it's selected at random. And if you do want coaching from me and you want to guarantee that you get coached, feel free to join my Discord and go to the private sessions, buy private sessions channel, and you'll find all the info you need here to purchase the package that you want. And this is more than just coaching sessions. It's a coaching plan, so the coaching continues even after you've had your first session. But yeah, so let's get into this. This is a submission by a previous student of mine. This must have been some years ago. They first got coached on tank, right? And this was back when they were on console. And they ended up climbing to Masters from Plat or Gold, I believe. But yeah, once they hit Masters, they eventually made the move to PC, which is fairly recently. And now they've submitted an interesting game where they say, we ended up winning in a stacked game. I kind of trolled a little. I solo shattered Jay, but overall I felt I played pretty well other than doing a little trolling. And as you guys saw, this match will be featuring ML7, Emongg, Wanted, and Jason the Third. So yeah, let's see how our student did. One thing that you're going to be running into facing this comp, especially considering that you don't have speed, you're going to find that your biggest dilemma is that you're going to get poked out before you can actually close the distance and get into that distance that you want, where you can just be swinging at people and then just like taking cover behind a corner and then rinsing and repeating, right? So in this case, it's going to be very important for you to be holding the positions that make you good as Rein, right? And the idea is that it's like these types of positions are short sightlines, right? Because obviously you don't have any range as Rein, really. So that will involve you holding corners, being disciplined with your shield, and then letting them kind of come in. That would have been interesting wording. Would have come towards you, right? To close the distance, and then you can capitalize on that, forcing them back, right? The easiest way to do this, right? The easiest way to bait them towards you would be to just play the objective. Now, the thing about that is that if you just sit down and just sit on the point, you're going to get swarmed from different angles. So when you do, it's important for you as Rein to be setting up those angles for your teammates first, right? So essentially, you're going to be helping clear out high grounds, right? You're going to be helping clearing out the high grounds with your teammates who are very poke heavy, right? With your Baptiste, your Zen doing out a ton of poke damage themselves. Sigma, pretty self-explanatory. And Ashe and Hanzo, also insane levels of poke. This is like probably the... Like, if you were Orisa, this would be like a pretty nuts poke team, but you're playing Rein, so it's fine. But anyways, that's your objective. Clear out the high grounds, get on the cart, or like not necessarily get on the cart, but play in areas that are short sight lines that you can manage, and using the objective as a means to bait them to short distances is a good method of achieving that. So yeah, let's just get into this. One thing though, I would maybe like for you to like let the cart come a little bit closer, right? Okay, so my thing is this, right? The one thing that I'm worried about is that as Rein, you don't really want to be going into these like a ton of swings when it's like you know that multiple people are looking at you and you don't have anybody on your team providing like counter like pressure just from their sightlines, right? So essentially, it's like if you're gonna go in like this, you don't want to be taking a 6v1 essentially. In this case, I think you maybe could have held on for just a little bit longer. Just sit behind this corner for a little bit longer, let them come out, and then you can move in closer, because then it's like they have to back up a lot quicker. And you can see that just like if you just look at it like this, where it's like if you're to just walk forward, and like you can kind of see that multiple people are going to face you. That's obviously going to happen, but it's like you don't really want to have to deal with anything that's like up here, if that makes sense, right? Because it's like once you start pushing yourself too far out, like here, then you're going to have to start dealing with this, and that becomes an issue, right? You'd rather just deal with these three, right? And you can manage your shield and do whatever you need to do accordingly, right? You can probably get some cleave damage that's going to force them back, and yeah, right? So just be careful about that. Let's keep going. Also, watch out for Orisa's Fortify. You don't really want to be swinging into an Orisa Fortify if unless if you're getting cleave, or you know your teammates can like follow up and actually kill the Orisa. So just be mindful of that. Pulling the corner, good. I'm not really too sure about this. Let's take a look at it from like, yeah, like okay, so your Ashe is behind you. Maybe you're a bit worried that they're gonna get picked, right? Like if your thing is okay, I want to shield this Ashe. I'd rather you be standing at this corner with your shield up like this, right? So if we back up like this, right? I'd rather you be standing at the corner with your shield up so that it protrudes through here. The Ashe can still fire through here, but then what that does is that it gives, especially since you don't have that speed, right? And again, this isn't a long time, but the point is that like, it's not like it takes a long time to get back to this corner, but it's like the point is that Orisa Sigma is going to whittle you down fairly quickly, right? So you don't want to like waste your shield. If there are ways you can optimize your shield usage, you're gonna do it, right? So in this case, let yourself just like sit at this corner, hold up your shield here, block for the Ashe. If anything, you can like what is it called? You press left click while you're right clicking for your shield. You can actually see where the Ashe is, and then when she backs off, or like you see that you need to let go of your shield, you can just like let go of your shield to back off like that, right? Maybe instead you can take a little bit of damage with your body, right? Again, you have a ton of health, you can make use of it. But yeah, there's lots of options here, and I think just standing here just for the sake of it, yeah, it doesn't really look like anybody like right now is like actually like peeking, and you're not closing distance, right? So it's like, what value is your shield being held up here, right? Like if you held your shield up now, like if like let's say you got halted and you were just sitting at the corner, you get halted, now you're here, totally fine. I understand why you would want a shield getting halted. That makes sense, right? Because you don't want to get hit like when your team is clumped up. But it's like, other than that, it's kind of wasteful shield. Sigma dies. Is that preventable? Again, I don't really see why you're jumping on top of the cart. That's kind of awkward. I think like you just need, like, again, you're not getting any closer to the enemy. You're not swinging at them. There's no real reason for you to be like up here like this. Again, if you wanted to like shield him, you could just be like standing at the corner like right around here, and you could shield like that. If that was your goal, then you could do it like that, but you don't need to be standing on top of the cart like that, right? Again, just play the corner. So you guys are using window. One of you guys falls down, unlucky. Two of your guys fall down, unlucky. Oh no, not good. Okay, so first of all, don't go pinning after tracers in your backline. That's not exactly smart. But I kind of have an idea of what's going to go on here. Yeah, it seems like you kind of gave up your angle that you had initially with the pin. And, yeah, you basically just get swamped here and it's over. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually, like, look at what, like, how you can prevent this. You're backing out, right? You probably could be using less shield here. Your team is already backing out. Your supports are right behind you. If anything, you can body block instead, right? Or maybe just like flicker shield, just like block like key points of damage, right? Like you can synchronize it with the Sigma shots. That's honestly such like a nitpicky thing, but whatever. That's not the point. The point is this, right? You go for the Tracer, not good. You need to understand like your goal of your team right now.
I'm here, I'm here.
Watch, watch,
We can
watch,
play to
watch.
live for a bit.
Yeah. Okay, I'm feeding.
Thank you.
No, you're alive.
And this is something that occurs a lot in these high-level games. Is that you'll see like these, like especially when you watch like a streamer play, you'll see at these higher level games like fights just don't really end, right? And it's kind of like the idea is that your team is just regrouping and like they want to get another fight here. So how do you do that, right? What you do is that you regroup here, but your job as Ryan right now is to help your team stay regrouped here by preventing these angles, or by preventing an angle from being taken, right? And you need to do it in a way that's manageable to you, right? So what's the issue? Ryan can only really manage one sight line at a time because he just has a shield. It's not like he has range. It's not like he can place down his shield and shoot somewhere else, all right? He can only really manage one sight line at a time. So you, as Ryan, in this case, don't want to pin, and you just want to sit like right here, right? And what you're going to do is that you're just going to prevent this angle from being taken. Sure enough, look at Wanted. You can see that he places Bob over there. You can see that he's going to peek. He's probably going to dynamite. There we go. And he gets absolutely domed. How he isn't dead is beyond me. But the point is that wouldn't a nice Rhine shield right here be nice? This would be nice right around here if you were to just like sit here and kind of prevent this angle from being taken. That'd be really cool, right? So not only does this prevent this angle from being stuffed, right? But it also presents opportunities for picks to happen, right? Because if we look, JAY3's in the open. That's a potential pick. But again, you have to give up the sight line because, well, your Ashe got domed and they were like literally 5 HP, right? So that's your fault, right? And we're going to see that it's like as your team is trying to contest this angle, it's kind of, the pressure is very limited on this angle. And the idea is that like what you're trying to do, another thing you consider, what you're trying to do when you're regrouping is that you're trying to manage the angles you can control, not just so that you don't get swamped, right? But alternatively, you're also trying to manage these angles so that you can use them later for when you do actually regroup and want to push. Let that sink in. Right? The idea is that it's like you can sit here, help this, right? You don't have speed, so it's not like you can just like walk through all the way over here and just do whatever you want, right? You can sit right here, help your Ashe fire through here, right? And then as this fight goes on, you can move wider and wider and wider with her, right? But do you see how she can't get any wider than like this line here, right? You could make her like have the possibility of being able to go like right here, right? And your Baptiste plays like right here, heals you here, fires here, whatever, right? But the point is that you haven't enabled that. You just kind of like given up this angle. They're gonna take it pretty soon, right? There we go. He has to get out. And the fight's done, right? It'd be nice if you were right here, right? Hanzo comes on the side, you're right here, Ashe is right here. Maybe either your Ashe gets a pick from up here earlier, and then you can just like drop onto the cart, so like back like right here. Right here, right? You can potentially just drop onto the cart if your team has like claimed this area properly. Right? If you can see it's sustainable, sure, why not? Right? Maybe you've like from here, it's like maybe you pinned them back into here. Maybe you made them use abilities so that they can't actually, like go up there and contest you. But it's like you see how it's like down here, they only have to deal with like one thing really, and it's really quick to get rid of that Ashe. But then all they have to do now is just focus through here, and then you're gonna see that the concave is gonna be created right here, right? And this is where the Tracer goes in, Ashe goes in, Bob comes in as well. This is death, right? So your goal as Ryan, prevent the concave when you guys are regrouping, right? Prevent the concave. No, I'm not going to tune into your girlfriend's stream. What's wrong with you? Getting caught in the Sigma ult, that's fine if you're just going to shield and like look to see that your team doesn't get shot at. How the hell did that catch those two people? But whatever. Good timing to beat. You're fine. You're gonna walk in. Good. That's a quirky little pin right there, and I like it. Good job for people who don't really understand Ryan. You need to be clearing out high grounds, right? And you can make you're actually, as Ryan, very good at clearing off angles, right? Because you can just walk into them and just stand there with your shield, or walk forward into people and frighten them with your shield. This is a good example of you being frightening. Is it greedy? Extremely. If you felt like your team was pushing in after this, sure, right? If you felt like your team was like in a position to be able to support you here, sure, go for this. But that's just the thing. Like you just need to make sure that you're like supported. You had B, you're probably gonna live that. This though, I don't know. I think this is a bit too much aggression on your part, right here, right? I think you just hard shield this. Let your armor come back. You know that you're in a risky position here. Let your armor come back, or at least like a bit. At least like give yourself the time to process. That's like, okay, I'm being healed up. I can give myself a bit of armor to play with, and then I can swing as I see fit. But it's like when you are like just throwing yourself into this like area where it's like you don't necessarily know where everybody is, don't be afraid to use the 1600 shield that you have to like survey the situation, right? You can survey the situation for a second, shield, right? Cover off from maybe the tracer like that, and you just get pocketed, and then it's like, okay, I realize I'm pocketed, my Ana's in position, because let's be honest, when is ML7 not in position? The guy's a nutcase. The guy's crazy. So you have a pretty good pocket here. But yes, you would like to take that time, because I hate to break it to you, but not every game has ML7 in it. But yeah, just take the time to survey. Going out to kill the tracer, that's fine. You're just ending the fight here. Oh no, this is cork. This is the epitome of quirkiness.
I'm doing a little feeding.
No, that's fine.
Oh, too deep, too deep.
Oh, maybe a little too.
Ryan got booped in. I'm backing away.
Yeah, I got booped.
I don't even need to explain that. Just don't do that. What you did there, don't do that. It was literally the last fight. You just need to live. I don't even know if you need the drop on card here. I don't really think that's the play. I think you can just sit right here and just shield Wanted for a second. Let him be aggressive as he wants. And then you could drop down once you're sure that he's cleared his angle. You're really... you might actually... Can you contest card from up here? I'm pretty sure you can, but whatever. Just sit up here, hold your shield. This is nice, right? I'm fairly certain you can contest from up here. If you can't, then you can just drop whenever it is that you want to, right? So you're just blocking shield, or blocking spam for your team, fine. Just poking, nothing really is going on. For one thing, like just as like a quality of life thing, you might as well be using your cart as cover, right? Just helps you personally. And it's like as you move the cart along here, it's like you can be here shielding this, and you don't really have to worry about getting hit from something like over here. Although obviously, yes, there is really nothing over here, but it's still just like you might as well do it. There's no reason not to. But yeah, okay. So your objective right now is that you're going to be trying to like claim the high ground. That's going to buy your team space and time to start swinging a bit and getting angles. Instead, it looks like you're going to go under the garage. Yeah, no, you can't really commit Fire Strike there. Not point blank versus an Ash. It's like you're going to get knocked off the high ground every single time. There's just no reason. You literally just have to sit here, right? If anything, what you can do is like a little bit earlier, right? Wait a little bit earlier. You up on top of the cart. Let's change color. Up on top of the cart. Up here to this corner. Right here. Shield. Right? And or you can literally just stand like right here if you wanted to. If you really wanted to. It's not optimal, but you can. The idea is that it's like you just sit here, or like right here at the corner. This would be better with a little sign. And you can use this, like, you just enforce this corner. And you being here, diverting attention, makes it easier for your team to take angles like this, do whatever it is that they want, right? That's just going to make it a lot easier for you. They can also take angles like this, like up on the high ground, and fire into here, into this area. That's really your objective right now. And it's like, if we look, it's just going to be very awkward for you when you path like under, and like that's the thing. As a tank player, like wherever you path, like people are going to like kind of follow you. So it's like you kind of want to do that a bit quicker, so that it makes it a bit easier on you. So basically what I was trying to say here, for some reason I couldn't split it out, but what I was trying to say is that if you go back here, like as a tank, your teammates will follow you, right? And when you pathed like under here into like the garage, it kind of like baited your teammates under here as well. And then when you go up here as well, like after this, your teammates are kind of like stuck in this awkward position where they're like below you and they can't really support you. So what I'm basically trying to say is that it's like, be more decisive, and just like, instead of hesitating and go under here and then go back up top here, sit behind the cart, wait until you get to the high ground area, like right around here. So you just sit behind the cart, push it, and then once you get to around that area where you can jump on top of the cart, then just make that movement. Your teammates are probably going to stay back here, knowing that you're just pushing the cart along. They're going to find their own natural cover, and then once you get up here, that's their time to actually start taking angles, and they'll just be able to pocket you up here easily. You're just going to sit right here and swing like this, right? You're going to swing like this and force a corner. You're building shatter. Again, you're making yourself fight in the range that you want to. That's really it, right? And if anything, maybe you can do it from here too, but just don't fire strike. You don't want to fire strike straight on at the enemy. Ideally, you'd like to fire at an angle, because it's very easy to dodge straight on. And yeah, I mean, it's also easy to read. That's why you get knocked off the high ground, which kind of sucks. So don't do it like that. Okay, now you're on the low ground. Nobody in your team is really able to claim angles, it seems. Everybody's just playing under the cart. Yeah, again, it's like, why are you moving into spaces that it's like, what are you actually going to get in here when your supports were, and your other teammates were in here, and that this is the location where you'd want to be fighting. You want to bring people down into here, right? So then you can swing into them, right? And it's kind of, you're walking out in the open, like just creating space. Like you're giving, not creating space, but you're like giving yourself like distance for no real reason, right? Like literally just sit like right here. You can just help out with what's going on over here. You can, and this is all within swing range, right? You can get into here. You can walk onto the cart from here, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do. But it's like that little place gives you options, right? The garage gives you options. But instead, you're just kind of walking up here. Your shield's gonna get broken, and now you're not gonna be able to push. Obviously, it's like most of your teammates died, but it's like, it's still definitely winnable. You can get a pick if you support somebody down there. This is interesting. Again, you don't need to be chasing after a tracer. No real reason for that. Guessing you're just getting your team out. Again, there's no reason to be fire striking like this, where it's like, you see how there's multiple people on your screen and you're just fire striking them when they know you're there. Yes, you don't have, you don't have to deal with hook, but you don't have armor. Don't have armor. You're gonna take a pretty big hit here, so there's no reason to do this. Okay, walking in, shield, nice, Maywall. Unlucky, can't get up. Pushing the cart is fine, just get that objective time. They're gonna have to come down to you eventually because you're sitting on the cart. Now, I'd like to see you hold some corners, but instead you're just kind of sitting out in the open. Ah, man. You're standing out in the open again, and it's like, this is where I'm saying it's like you're leaving yourself exposed to like angles for no reason. Like, cut those angles off. You see this? You can literally dodge all of this if you just play like right here from the beginning. If you just play right here and get into swing range and you have your corner, you can manipulate this corner, do whatever it is that you want, and you can be swinging at whoever it is that you want. But instead, you've given yourself all this space from any source of cover, right? Any sort of cover, whether it's you're going to play right here, you're going to play right here, wherever. You're giving yourself all that space, and then it's like you're just going to get hit from here. You're going to get hit from here. You're taking on too many angles at once, right? Obviously, this is a Mercy, but the Ana could, right? The Orisa was here, I think. She's going to res now, right? There we go. Now you're going to push him with Maywall. That's nice. But yeah, I mean, you just have to... You have to close the angles, man. Close the angles. So you're leaving them too open for no real reason.
Oh, I just got shattered, bro. Bob pooped out the point as well.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll talk about like give you like 2 or 3 things. 2 or 3 things that you can improve on, that you can take from this VOD review, right? So for one thing, you have to close angles, right? Close angles. Try to deal with one at a time. That happens quite often to you, where you start dealing with multiple angles at a time, and Ryan doesn't work like that. He doesn't want to deal with that, right? So close the angles you don't want to deal with, right? 2, look to enable angles / clear them, if that makes sense, before you take a position / push, right? This is relatively easy. It's just like, for example, high ground, right? In particular, that there was like a couple of opportunities where I'm thinking about when your team was regrouping that one time, and Wanted was peeking out, trying to like find a pick. He created crossfire with the Bob. You guys are just like holding on for a bit, like waiting to regroup, and you're potentially finding a pick. And there's opportunities where you can find a pick or set up for a better hold, like onto the cart. But instead, you pinned into the back line, and then you went into this weird location where you were taking on multiple angles at once, and you had to give it up. And then you ended up having like you basically gave yourself no opportunity to turn the fight around. But yeah, high ground angles, right? High ground angles. So actually, that's a weird way to word it. Let's say like DPS angles. Sure, let's say that. DPS angles, right? So in particular, like you can think of this like particularly about like when you don't have speed, right? When you don't have speed, it's much better for you to be like you can't just like slam into somebody like you would when you had speed, but when you don't have speed, look to enable the poke, right? Look to enable the poke, clear the angles first, and then you can just get onto the once you've gotten your teammates the angles that they need, right? Or the angle that they need, then you can move to the cart. Then you can move into the range, into your swing range. And that's where I would say your third issue is, let's say you play without thinking about where is best for you, right? So essentially what that means is you need to get into swing range, right? So okay, no. Let's say this as like you tend to wander around a lot, right? You wander around a lot, and what this ends up making you do is that like this indecisiveness, right? This indecisiveness is leading you to have less options as the fight goes on, right? As fight continues, right? That's not even English. That's like hieroglyphics. I particularly recall when you were like, you were just like, you just tend to stand out in the open a lot of times, and it's like you're not moving towards actual like cover and like moving into spaces where you can actually start like swinging, or you're not like, you just tend to hold your shield up. Maybe that came down to you being nervous about this game. But I'd say probably the simplest ones that you could work on is probably this one and this one to an extent, because there's a lot of times when you don't have speed. But yeah, I mean that's essentially that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave feel free to leave them in my Discord, or feel free to message me. If anybody else is interested in coaching, my rates are in my Discord, and if you want a free VOD review done, the instruction on how to get that done is in my Discord as well. That's selected randomly, so it's not like you're guaranteed to get a VOD review, but you're more than welcome to submit something, and feel free to ask questions and ask maybe even one of the people in the Discord to review your VOD. But yeah, it's been starisfilth Gaming.